In this video, we're going to take GPTs and then we're going to add something to it. And the combination of these two, it's kind of a big deal. Here's why. One, a lot of this is no code, meaning that you don't have to be a software developer. You don't need to know how to code to get up and running with this. About 20 minutes from now, you know how to put together some pretty incredible automation processes with 0 lines of code being written. And two, this is getting very close to autonomous AI agents. We're not quite there yet, but boy, are we close. GPTs are pretty cool in and of themselves, but there's some things they can't do. There's a lot of software they can't interact with. You have to initiate them. You have to click on things. You have to be there to get the function out of it. They don't run 24 hours a day doing things on your behalf, but you add some zaps. That's what the Zapier automation things are called. And magic starts to happen. You're a wizard, Harry.
This video will have 2 parts. In the first part, we will go over how to use Zapier. We will build an automation, also known as a zap. For this example, we will create a custom AI-generated video for each customer that signs up. In the second part of the video, you will see how to connect GPTs and Zapier. Make sure you subscribe to this channel. That will allow you to learn how to build these god-tier AI automations.
So when I signed up for HeyGen, the founder, Joshua, sent me a little video to welcome me on board. Now, I assumed it was a cookie cutter video that he sends to everybody. It's just the same video that he shot once that he sends to everybody that signs up. But it was actually a personalized video for me. Take a listen.
Hey, where's Ralph? Thanks for your interest in our ultra-realistic avatar feature for teaching generative AI. We appreciate your enthusiasm.
He knew my name and he knew that I was using this technology to teach generative AI. Knowing that he took the time to shoot that video made me feel special, unique, and cared for.
And we'll get back to you soon. By the way, this is an automated video message generated with my avatar. Hope you find it helpful and we'll talk soon.
Okay, so maybe I wasn't as special as I thought because this is AI generated. Could we utilize the same technology? Yes, let's do it. So here I logged into my HeyGen account. So we need to find my API key. We're going to go over here to space settings, and here's the API. So it looks like it's available for business or enterprise members. I think I have the creator, like the first paid tier, but hooray for us. They do have a trial token where you can do up to 5 videos per day. And they have the API instructions here in case you wanted to take a look. So if you're using the API, they do have the outline of how to do that here. But for us, again, we're using Zapier to do this. So we're going to go here. We're going to click activate. We're going to copy this token. Then we're going to go into our Zapier account. Yes, I do have the 20,000 task per month plan. And yes, I think I do need to downgrade it because I'm not really using it. So we're going to go into the apps. And so the apps is all the software that you can use to integrate using Zapier to other pieces of software or to GPTs or to whatever. So you might recognize some of these: Beehive, Circle, ClickFunnels, Gmail, MailChimp, Opt-in Monster, etc. But we're going to search for HeyGen. Hey, there's HeyGen. Click connect and this little message window pops up. And so it says, do you want to connect your HeyGen account to Zapier? All we have to do here is paste in our API key. And once you've pasted that in, just click yes, continue to HeyGen. I've blocked my HeyGen API key because I know that if you get your hands on it, you're going to make me say all sorts of dirty stuff. And I don't want that to happen. All right, so now we have that connection. And now we can use any of Zapier's, whatever it is, 6,000 apps to connect to HeyGen. So let's take a look at how we do that. All right, next, let's attach Gmail to this so that we can control some of these actions that are triggered, some of these actions based on triggers that happen in Gmail. So for example, when you get a new email with a new subscriber, something happens. So let's go here and put Gmail. All right, there's Gmail. We're going to click connect. All right, so I've signed into my account and I'll click allow. And now we've connected Gmail to Zapier. All right, now the fun begins. Let's create a zap. And so here it has this little cool sort of 3D display where we can zoom in, zoom out. And basically it's kind of like a mind map of things that happen. So step 1 is the thing that starts the snowball rolling. So what is the first thing that happens that triggers the series of events that you want to happen? So in our case, that's a Gmail that happens in Gmail. So some sort of an email comes in, right? So in Gmail, what event triggers this? So in our case, let's use, there's multiple different ones you can use. And so here, let's try the new email matching search, for example. There are different ways of doing this. You can do any specific label in Gmail, or let's try this. depending on what you're trying to create, there's going to be a few different ways you can do it. So here there's a search string. So there's some sequence of characters that appears in the email that's going to flag it as something that Zapier needs to run. So for example, let's just make something up, something that's unlikely to appear in a regular email. So for example, here we're going to do in single quotes, new cust as a new customer, and we're going to finish that with a single quote. So anytime we see an email with that in it appear, this will trigger this Zap to run. We'll see how that works in just a second. So we'll click continue. So here we're going to shoot a quick email to that Gmail account. So we're going to put the new cust, the trigger word, in the title. And then for the body of the email, we're just going to put the name of the new customer. So we're going to write Bobo. How about that? Bobo. That's going to be a new customer. So we'll click send. All right. So we have our trigger, and here we're going to have Hey Jen as the thing that we want to happen once this email comes in. So here's the email that came in. So the snippet is Bob O. That's the one we're looking at. We're going to continue with the selected record. And then for Hey Jen, once that comes in, we're going to create a video. And on the input text, so this is the thing that we want to say. So we're going to say, we're going to use the customer's name, Bobo, comma, welcome to the machine. I don't know, whatever. Test success. So part of setting these things up is running what sometimes is referred to as unit tests. So it's basically testing each portion of this to make sure that it's working. So then once you figure out how to make one thing work, then you connect everything together and you know that the whole process is going to work. But if this fails, then we know, okay, this is the thing that we have to fix. So it's just, so we're doing this for testing purposes. And then we select the voice ID. So well, we need English for sure, since we're talking in English. So we'll do Paul, natural English male. Let's try that. And we click continue. And now we're going to see if it works. And so a video was sent to Hey Jen, and it confirmed that it was a success. All right. So it says your Zap is on. And so I'm seeing it now being processed here. So to recap, an email came in with the new customer and their name. So it automatically took the customer's name and it added some text and it sent it to Hey Jen to generate that image, or that video rather. Hey Jen started processing that video with the avatar that we selected. And again, it could be me doing that. We would just have to hook up my avatar to it, or it could be one of their sort of generic avatars that they have, their pre-existing, pre-recorded avatars, whatever language you want. So if you have customers from different languages, you can even have it automatically select what language you want to do. All of that is fully customizable within the Zapier platform. So here it's completed. So I guess this is whatever his name was, Paul in a yellow sweater. Let's see how it worked out.
Bob, oh, welcome to the machine. Test success. Bob, oh, welcome to the machine. Test success.
All right. So he's saying, Bob, oh, welcome.
Bob, oh, welcome to the machine. Test success.
All right. So that worked. Now I'm thinking about it would be better if he started with some text like you successfully signed up and then said the name, but we'll come back to that. So let's take a look at our Zaps. So I'm back in this view. Let me click on this and see if we can edit some of this stuff. All right. So we're going to click edit Zap. So we're going to click on this to edit. And now for the text. So we're going to start with hello there, comma, and then the name. And then we're going to end that sentence. And we're going to start a new one saying, welcome to the machine. So he's going to say, hello there, Bobo, welcome to the machine. Also, Alex in yellow sweater is not doing it for me. No offense, Alex. Let's see if we can do better. So let's do female, and we're going to do, this is kind of insane looking. This is like a Victorian garb.
Welcome to the new era of video creation with Hey Jen.
Let's try that. So this is going to be Monica in dress. So we'll use Monica in dress. And then we also going to make sure to change the voice. So let's do English, female, and whatever. We'll use something that's cheerful. Anna, continue. All right. We're going to test the step. So they're going to send that video to Hey Jen. All right. So let's see how that works. So this is the video that was created. Let's take a listen.
Hello there, Bobo. Welcome to the machine.
It's not quite what I had in mind, but I guess it will be memorable. The whole thing is just a little bit scary, right?
Hello there, Bobo. Welcome to the machine.
All right. Yeah, that's frightening. But you know what? We're just testing this out. Obviously, when you're doing it live for customers, you want to make sure that the avatar is good, the voice is good. All of that can be set. For the time being, we're just going to go with it. All right. So the next step will be to, once that video is completed, we want to retrieve that video to make sure that we're able to send it to people. So how we do that is, once again, we pull up Hey Jen. And so the next step is going to be to get the actual shareable link from that video. So we're going to retrieve shareable link for a video, continue. We're going to click continue. And here's all the videos that we've been doing. So custom one, we're going to click custom. And this shows the steps that we did so far. And those will have all the data that we need to make this happen. So, all the data in that email is here. When we've created the HeyGen thing, all the data for that is here. So here, basically what we need is the output video ID. So it's a unique ID that was generated. So we'll put that in the video ID column, and we're going to continue, and then we're going to click test step. Perfect. And so that's our little shareable link that was sent to us. So we're going to copy that, and we're just going to go ahead and paste it in here and test it. So I pasted it into my browser, and there it is. And now comes the last and final step, is we're going to send that video to our customer and hope he doesn't unsubscribe. So we're going to add another Gmail step. We're going to say send email, continue. From that account, continue. And who is it going to? Now, normally what you would do here is if you have the customer's email, that original email you got in Gmail, you would find it here and use that. You would plop that email right in there. Right now, just for testing purposes, I'm going to go ahead and just send it to ourselves. And the subject will be test video. Now, keep in mind that since we have all this data, if you wanted to customize the subject to, for example, include the name of the person, we can do that. So for example, if we do test videos, comma, and then we'll select the name of the person. So that's going to get put into the video. And in the body of the email, we're going to say, hello, here's a video I made for you. And then here we're going to link the video that we made. So there it is. We're going to click on the shareable link, and that's it. We're going to click continue. So let's test that step. All right. And so there it is, test Bobo. So it sent this email with the name of the customer. In the subject line, it says, hello, here's a video I made for you. And it has a link that we click on.
Hello there, Bobo.
Hello there, Bobo. And so that's it. So our Zap has been created, it has been tested. And now every single time that email comes in matching those specifications, Zapier will extract the details that it needs to create a video in HeyGen. It will retrieve that shareable link and then send the customer an email. Now, obviously, as you can see, there's a lot of things that you can customize in here. There's a lot of data. There's tons of fields that you can customize and tweak and optimize. So this is just a sort of basic framework for how to do that. But you see how easy it was, how fast it was. You didn't need any code. You didn't need any complicated stuff. It's all in there. You can do this with 6,000 different apps that's under sort of the Zapier radar. The next step would be to really test it from beginning to end. For example, here, between the time you create a video and retrieve a video, some time passes as it develops that. So you want to make sure that this doesn't fail if it takes too long. So here you might use a step. For example, you can do delay by Zapier. So you can do like a delay for a set amount of time or delay after queue, which is going to be very important, especially if you're using the GPTs that have rate limits. Let me go back here for a second. So it says here, so delay after queue. So this waits for a set amount of time after the last delay in a given queue, used to deal with race conditions and rate limiting. So with GPTs, you are going to deal with rate limiting. So using this is going to help you deal with that. But basically, you do one thing, then you wait a minute, then you do another thing, then you wait a minute to make sure you're not running into any limiting actions and getting error messages. So once you have this set up and it's working, you still got to make sure you kind of stress test it and make sure that if something doesn't run quite properly, that the whole thing doesn't break. And Zapier does a great way of notifying you when things don't run. So you will get messages going, hey, this might not be working. Take a look. And then it'll show you. And it's all pretty straightforward. It's not, because this is supposed to be a no code application. They do a pretty good job of kind of breaking it down and making it simple.
You now know how to build full-blown automations using Zapier. Now let's move on to part 2. In this section, let's see how to combine the power of GPTs with the simple automation abilities of Zapier. The first step is to join your OpenAI account with your Zapier account.
So one of the things you have to do is connect your OpenAI account to the Zapier account. An easy way is to just visit this URL. So this is Zapier's URL, actions.zapier.com/GPT/actions. So I'll provide this link in the show notes, but just, visit that link. And then, so you're going to see this thing saying OpenAI wants to access your Zapier account for AI actions. All right. So we'll click allow. So it looks like I got an error message, but I think that's because I haven't defined any AI actions yet. So I just went back to the page, actions.com/GPT/actions. So I just reopened it. And so this page appears. This is, once you've connected it, this is the page that will show all the actions that you have, and you can add a new action here. All right, so we're going to click add a new action. And here we have, so we can type to search thousands of apps and actions. So for example, with Gmail, we can do the following things with Gmail. If we wanted to do Stripe payment processing, for example, there's Stripe ClickFunnels. If you use that to build various landing pages, there's your ClickFunnels. Google, various Google things. So you can do Google Docs, Gmail, Google Slides, Google Contacts, Google Drive. So you can find a file in the Google Drive. That is very cool. YouTube. So it looks like you can get some specified data from your own channels. I did not know that was in there. Google Tasks. That could be interesting. We have Reddit create new link post, Tumblr, GitHub, Facebook. So Twitter, it looks like it doesn't have direct integration, but let's see, X. Twilio allows you to send cheap SMS messages, text messages, even call numbers. By the way, I just finished reading Demon by Daniel Suarez about this rogue AI but it's really good. Just this idea of calling somebody's phone and using AI text to speech. If you read that book, you know what I'm talking about. And this, of course, is just your basic Gmail. If you have a Gmail account connected to Zapier, you can have ChatGPT, the GPTs compose various emails for you and just send them to various email addresses or have them answer emails as they come in. I don't think people are getting where we are, what time we're living in right now, because we're going to start seeing some pretty wild stuff that's going to begin to happen. All right, but let's set up our first real action. So that's going to be Gmail. We're just going to send email just so we can walk through the process of doing this and to see how that works. So we're going to click send email. That's going to be my corporate account. So if you have multiple Gmail accounts connected, you can use those. You have to connect one first. So step one would be connecting all those accounts that you need to connect in order to make this work. We already covered that earlier. So, so if you need to connect, go back to the dashboard, connect the apps that you need to, and then they're going to show up here. And then we're going to have the to field, who are we sending it to, the subject and the body of the email. All right. And then here at the bottom, so you can fill out whatever you want, but let's just leave it as is. Now we're going to have the GPT do all this for us. All right. And then the action name. So this is the thing you're going to call this action. And this is what we're going to tell the GPT to do. So I'm going to call this send email from natural20 Gmail. How about that? And here we're going to click require preview before running AI action. So when you're setting this up, when you're just testing it, this will allow you to see what it's doing before it does it. Later on, once you know everything's working, you can disable that and have it just run automatically. All right. And then we're going to click enable action. So as you can see here now at this page, which is actions.zapier/GPT/actions. So again, a lot of this is going to be on this page. That's the page that we're talking about. So keep in mind, this is the Zapier domain. So we're on their domain, and this is just a page that has a list of all the actions that we can connect to OpenAI. So then you can add a new action. But right now we got our first action, which is send email. And now we're going to go back to the GPT builder. So I know this can be a little bit confusing. So we're back to the OpenAI site. Here's that website. So for readability, it's chat.openai.com/GPTs/editor, or you can just do /create, and that's going to forward you over here. Obviously just put those as bookmarks so you can just click on it versus trying to remember all this stuff. The reason I point this up here is just so you can kind of mentally understand whose site we're on, who we're dealing with. So with actions, we're on the Zapier site. When we're building GPTs, we're on the OpenAI site. That's just the main point of all this. So now we're conversating with GPT Builder, which if you saw my previous video, every once in a while he goofs up. So I don't know if I like GPT Builder. I think I prefer to just click configure. Less chance of stuff going wrong. So name your GPT. So we're going to call it Zapier test. And description will be testing Zapier. I'm feeling very creative today. All right. So instructions, let's hang off on that. Let's just enable all the capabilities just so we don't run into any issues later. Obviously, once we know exactly what we're doing, we can disable the ones we don't need. We're obviously going to need web browsing for this one since it's communicating with Zapier. Actually, I'm not sure if that's true or not, but I feel like we are safer just having that on. All right, next. And so this is where it gets a little bit tricky. So scroll to the bottom of this configure screen, right? And at the very bottom, you have your actions. And actions are described as APIs this GPT can use. All right, we're going to click add actions. And so here it's a little bit hidden, right? Because this is what we need. Import from URL. It doesn't even look like a button, but you click on that and you need to put in the URL into here. It's a specific URL that comes from Zapier that will import all the needed functionality. Where do you get that? So I'll leave a link in the description, obviously, but if you ever forget, just Google Zapier AI Actions GPT. And so this second one under docs is the one that we're looking for. Here's what that page looks like. And if you just scroll down, here's is where we have the get started section. So it's saying copy this special URL to your clipboard. And so basically this is from Zapier and it's giving the GPT all the APIs that it's going to need. You don't need to really understand what this is. Just copy it and then do all the things that we just went through. So open a new GPT, create a new GPT, click configure, scroll down, click actions, and then click that button again, just like we talked about. So let's go back to, so again, this is where we were, right? So let me go back. So you scroll down, add actions, import from URL, bam, right? And this is where that is going to go. So we're going to copy this full thing, plop that right in there. By the way, this is probably the most difficult part of this. So if you can get through this, you're in the clear. All right, then we're going to hit import. And so that's going to contain all of this text in there. You can pretty much ignore it. It just gives OpenAI, the GPTs, all the information they need to do certain actions on your behalf using Zapier. All right, and down here, it says available actions. So it gives us two. It has list what's available and then run a particular action. And there's an available action ID that goes in there. All right, then I clicked back. All right, and now when you scroll down here, under actions, you have actions.zapier.com. Additional settings is just you can opt out of this AI getting trained on your stuff. So I'm going to save this really fast. And as you can be just from me for the time being, this one you don't want out there because it's using your Zapier API. So you don't want to be sharing that. All right, so we're going to message it and we're going to ask, what are all the available actions with Zapier? Let's see. Okay, so it knows what we're talking about. So it's saying some info will be sent there. So it's basically running this API call to see what actions are available. So remember, that's this page, right? So right now we only have the send the email, but as you add more and more and more and more and more, you're going to be able to see which ones are available and then you can turn them on and off. So for example, if you have one, but you don't want to show up, you turn it off. So it asked me to click on sign in again, even though we did this already. So keep in mind, this is alpha. This is still very early on. So sometimes you might have to do a couple different things over and over again. So I'm going to click allow once again. By the way, so there's some stuff here that I've cut out because sometimes it'll break, it'll crash. So just whenever you run into any issues, just try refreshing it. Try going back to the original page. If it keeps breaking, start the GPT process, the creation over again. I feel like, very quickly within a few weeks or a few months, all this is going to be solved. But if you're doing this early, this is part of the process. You got to put up with some crap. But, just don't get frustrated. Just reset it, try it again, etc. So let me try this again. I'm going to ask the same question again. So what are the available actions? So some info will be sent. Okay, so see, it's asking me allow. I'm going to go ahead and click always allow. So look at that. So it found our Zapier action send email from Natural20 Gmail. And it can even, we can even click this configuration link to go to Zapier and configure that further. All right, so we're going to say use that action to send an email to, so use that action to send an email to contact@natural20.com. The email subject line will be available zaps, and the body is your description of the available actions that I have and a brief explanation of what they do. So basically this. So what we're going to be doing is we're going to be having GPT draft an email for us. I'm not going to write the email. It's going to do it. Now, obviously, this is just a test, so it's kind of like not very useful, but just imagine what can be done. So instead of sending an email to myself, basically, you can have it answer customer questions. You can have it text message people. If you want to get fancy, you can even create a text to speech and have it call somebody and leave a voicemail, for example. You can have it send you motivational emails every morning. It can even be in the style of Arnold Schwarzenegger, right? Something like work hard and be useful.
That was terrible. It's more like, get to the chopper.
All right, so that's it. Let's click send message. Let's see what it does. So this is interesting. So here, sometimes you're going to see two different responses. And so if you're not aware, there's a few reasons for this. One is you can choose the better response. That helps you get the better response. But if you've heard that term RLHF, reinforcement learning with human feedback, it basically trains these models with human feedback to provide better answers. In this case, the human feedback, the human is you. You're training it to be better. In this case, it's identical, really. So let's allow, actually, I assume it's identical, but maybe there's some stuff it's not showing me. So here we go. Okay, so this, I can actually see what's available, and the instructions is this. So let's, first of all, review the email. When we click on review the email, so that takes us to Zapier. So and it sends it to that email. Subject is available Zap, which I think that's what we said. Yeah. And so, the problem is, the body is, it just copied and pasted what I told it to do. So as you can see here, you're able to see it here. So as you can see here, this is what it's sending to Zapier. So instructions is, the body of the email should describe the available actions with a brief explanation of what they do. So right now, keep in mind, again, this is very early. There's going to be a lot of bugs. There's going to be a lot of issues. Your ability to get the most benefit out of it is going to be determined by your ability to learn its little quirks and eccentricities and figure out how to get around them.
Wes struggled for quite a while to get this GPT to write out this email. I'll edit out his struggle, except for this part.
No body. Okay. You know that meme where the guy picks up his keyboard and he just smashes everything around his office? We might get there yet. All right, let's try that again.
There are a few keys that you need to mention in the prompt to make it work. 1. Ask it to work through it step by step. 2. Tell it to send the full body text in the API instructions.
But still no body. Pass the body text in the instructions field. So I'm going to ask it to pass the body text in the instructions field. All right, so what it did now is it wrote this out, including this code, and now it's preparing that request, and it's going to show me a preview. All right, so the email has been successfully prepared. Let's see. 5th time's the charm. Oh, baby. Is it okay to feel proud about the GPT you have just created, figuring out what you wanted to do? Is that okay? So yeah, as you can see here, it nailed the body. YouTube's going to think I'm talking about something completely different. I'm saying it correctly identified the body text. All right. And here's that email that was sent. So just to recap, because I ran into some issues with giving it the proper instructions for it to be able to send that email correctly with the Zapier Actions. If you run into issues where it doesn't include the body field, the body text, the key to fixing that, so what I told it to do is pass the body text in the instructions field. So when it sends the thing to Zapier, the only two things it needs is this available action ID, which is so that's the action ID that it's used. And then the instructions. So as you can see here, it includes the to field, the subject line, and includes the body text. It goes all the way, that whole thing's in there. And now that's it. So we have just used a GPT to use Zapier to send ourselves an email. That may not seem like a big deal, but as we've discussed, these are the Lego pieces that you can put together to create some incredible automations. You've connected two very powerful pieces of software. One is Zapier, this logic-based thing that just hooks into 6,000 plus apps on the internet. That's super easy to use. That's no code. And the second thing is, just the most advanced AI that we have access to. This is an absolute game changer. As we're going to be building more and more stuff with it, you're going to see how far this can take you, just these two things. So stick around. As I'm recording this, it just turned 4:20 on 11/11. It's 4:20 p.m. on November 11th. That's weird. Is it? I don't know.
Wes didn't know it at the time, but that was recorded in the same moment Sam Altman posted this. Weird.
But my point is, this is big. Make sure you're following along, because it seems like it's a lot bigger than most people realize at this time. Please subscribe to this channel. We're going to be doing a lot more tutorials, keeping up on the latest things. What we've been seeing is just scratching the surface. I think by next year, the stuff that we're going to be able to build with this is going to be mind-blowing. And it does seem more and more that writing code, being able to read code, being able to develop software, it's still important, still beneficial. It's still a incredible skill to have. If you're a coder, you have an incredibly useful skill, obviously. But what this is showing to me is that if you're not a coder, if you haven't put in the 10,000 hours needed to master software development, that's okay. It really seems like that's not going to hold you back. You do still need to learn. You still need to keep up with this stuff. You still need to learn a few new skills, but it does seem like maybe it's not going to be a prerequisite to be successful with this stuff. Anyways, I hope you enjoyed that. My name is Wes Roth. Thank you for watching.
As a special bonus, here's a song about OpenAI and Zapier. Lyrics, audio, and vocals all AI generated.
In a realm of brilliance where genius is bound, OpenAI and Zapier is found. Together they embark on a journey so grand, synthesizing AI with automation hand in hand. OpenAI's power, a symphony of code, Zapier's finesse orchestrating workflows untold. Unison of minds, a harmony so true, innovation rings as they dance, me and you.